They say all men are created equal. Shot! Master! I'll pull out the Glock! Full of suffering succotash, son!
One of your nuts is hanging out of your shorts.
Real glass!
You have a father, but your father's dead.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the Two Sweet podcast, and finally the two of us are back. Lucy and Estelle, the duo that is so much better together. I mean, you did an amazing job reviewing All Out solo, Estelle. I really enjoyed listening to that. But it's much better when we're back together, isn't it?
It is. It's been a really long time coming. I've been really looking forward to doing the review this week, and as annoying as it is, the break, I do feel like zhuzhed up a bit and ready and raring to go, a bit more revitalised.
100% makes it exciting, doesn't it?
Yeah, for sure. All Out was pretty crazy. A lot of stuff happened, and this episode of Dynamite was really, really fun. So I'm excited that we're going to get to talk about it, because I feel like maybe you listened to my review, but I know you definitely watched the pay-per-view.
Yes, I did.
But I haven't heard your opinions, but I'm sure that they'll naturally come through as we get to the talking points. I'm excited to know what you think about various things, because we haven't really talked about. If we talk about wrestling, it's usually just to meme something.
Yeah, outside
to
of
take
the
the piss.
podcast.
See something stupid. It's usually to make fun of someone posting something absolutely stupid,
Yeah.
and we're just taking the piss out of it. We don't talk about serious things. I don't know why. We don't talk about the big groundbreaking things.
Because we retain that for content purposes.
Yeah, you are getting the
viewer.
the authentic
Listener.
reactions, to be fair.
Yeah.
I do think it's a
exactly.
subconscious thing. Yeah, you're right.
And also, it took me so long to get through All Out. It was such a long show, and I've been super, super busy. So it's whenever I got a free moment, I stuck it on. And I felt like I barely made a dent in it. It took me days to get through it. And he was like, that's weeks. It's weeks that you've been watching All Out. I was like, well, it's not been weeks, but yeah, I know. It did feel like that at points. But that's not to say that it was bad or it dragged or anything like that. It was just long, but I did overall enjoy it. I thought your point about it being a really varied show was so true. That's what I love about AEW, to be honest, is that every match has a little bit of a different spice. It's like a 7-course meal, and everything's a little bit different, and it's just something for everyone. So yeah, I think All Out was definitely. What did you rate it? A 9.2 or a 9.3 or something? Oh my god.
9.275. I could not decide between a 9 and a 9.5. I just couldn't.
This ranking system,
you understand?
Means nothing to me.
9 feels low, but then 9.5 felt like too much, because there was a few things that were a bit.
Yeah,
I didn't know how to feel about it.
I do agree, to be honest. So I think your rating was fair. I believe if I was there, I probably would have pushed more for a 9, maybe the lower end. But again, that might be impacted by the
viewing experience.
The viewing experience of just it taking forever, and maybe it didn't flow as well because it was very disjointed. But yeah.
What was your favourite match?
I
think mine was the tables and tacks.
Yeah, I loved that. I really liked the other extreme match. I thought the coffin match is what I'm trying to get out. I couldn't remember what the stip was for a second there. And I also really liked the Unified Championship match. But I haven't thought about what match of the night was. I can't really. I wouldn't say that they definitely are. I agree with the tables and tacks though. They're probably my top 3. But yeah, so we had All Out. Oh, hang on.
Did I say tacks and tables, or did I say thumbs and tables?
Thumbs and tables.
Sometimes I don't know what I'm saying.
I think you said tacks and tables. I mean, if you said no, you did, because I remember thinking briefly. Should you say tax as in money tax? What's she on about? You did say tacks and tables.
On brain self.
Yeah. Before we get into the Dynamite review, from the fallout from All Out, that brand, is we just want to say we are coming up to 100 episodes, and we're also really close to 1,000 subs, which is amazing. And thank you everyone for all the support and being here for the ride. We really do appreciate everyone listening. But we want to do something that maybe a bit special when we hit those milestones. So, but we're also a little bit stuck for ideas. Well, we have ideas, but we want to know what people want to see, and if you've got any sort of fun, I don't know, like challenges or topics or anything that you maybe think would be a good idea for a special episode, do let us know in the comments section on YouTube, or you can tweet me or whatever. If you have any inspiration for us, that'll be much appreciated. But anyway, let's talk about Dynamite this week.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk about Dynamite. I think obviously All Out was a very, very good show. But when I saw the card for the fallout of All Out, I wasn't blown away. I really did enjoy the show though, and when I went along with the show and just, went in with an open mind, I really enjoyed it, and everything kind of started to make sense towards the end and the directions they were going in. But yeah, when I first saw the card, I was a bit underwhelmed. I was a bit underwhelmed, one, by, but I think I was in three things. The first thing going into it was Mark Briscoe wrestling. Like, I don't I mean, but then I thought about that, and I was like, actually, I can reason it, because there's been a lot of new viewership coming over from WWE to AEW because of how the product's been, yada yada. So I guess it makes sense that if they're buying a pay-per-view, you kind of want to keep that continuity. So maybe the mindset is, oh, well, we'll feature Matt Briscoe because they'll have seen Matt Briscoe in the Thumbs and Tax match and they're already invested, so let's keep him going. So I don't know whether that's the mentality. My second thing was Lee Moriarty versus Hangman, because it's just not doing it for me. It's not exciting. It's not a draw. But I did really enjoy the match.
Yeah.
Even though it was very short, I did enjoy it. And then the third thing was Stat against Mina Shirakawa, because I'm like, again, what is this thing with the next, well, not the next night, but a few nights later, instant title defenses, when I feel like the world champion should, especially a new champion, should be coming out and addressing the crowd. Like, that's all they need to do. They shouldn't be wrestling immediately, especially Mina Shirakawa, who's got such a close association with Tony Storm. It just feels like a bit samey. But again, that was a great match, and the fallout from that match was fantastic. So my perceptions were wrong.
Yeah, I totally agree with all viewpoints there. On paper, Hangman versus Moriarty, it's sort of like, well, what's he done to deserve a title shot? And I know that's a bit of a maybe arbitrary response to title defenses from naysayers of AEW, like, oh, well, they haven't earned it. What's the story? And I don't like going down that route usually, but I sort of get that in this instance, like, surely you should have some sort of really good reason to be challenging for the title, and it's straight after a defense, and not same goes for Mina. Feels a little bit lazy just shoving on like a title match just for the kind of sort of feels like just for the sake of having a title match, but in practice those things worked quite well, and they were great matches, and same as you, I enjoyed them. So yeah, it's strange because also as well, like, they did the Lee Moriarty video package, and I was like, oh yeah, hell yeah, I'm bought into this now. You've successfully marketed it to me, and I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm into it. So I think, like you said, it's worth going into it with an open mind, and then you probably enjoy it when you're along for the ride instead of overthinking it, which I guess is what this podcast is for.
Overthinking. That's the thing about I forgot what I was going to say now. Can you repeat your last few sentences so I can reboot my thoughts? Very good point.
That, like, the video package of
That's
Lee
it.
Moriarty,
Yeah, that's it. I'm back. Yeah. If you're shown that you should care, you will care. When it's like the luchadors, right? Back in the day, and not even back in the day, a year ago, I was not shown I should care, so I didn't care. And it's same with people coming in that are lower down the card or from Ring of Honor. If they're presented in a certain way, and then they're good in the ring, you can buy in quite quickly.
Yeah.
But I also do have to respect AEW because it's not a popular thing that they do, bring in Ring of Honorers, bringing in more so C-tier wrestlers from Collision to come in and have a random TV match. But it's something that is undeniably AEW. And I think
True.
last time when they got an influx of WWE fans when Punk signed, they kind of bowed down a bit. And it was a good time. It was a good time for experimenting. And I didn't hate on the Better Than You Baby stuff and the sports entertainment stuff. I do think it was a fun time and experimentation is good. But I think they did kind of lose their way a bit, and there was a bit of pandering maybe, and like, oh shit, will the mainstream fans like this, and this concern that we have to be like WWE, we still have to do things like them. But I have to respect the balls of Tony Khan that it's like Collision has been Collision since Punk left, and they've rebuilt that into its own type of show, and it stood its ground. It's got a cult following. Same with the open challenges from the world champions. Same with the luchador stuff. He's just stood his ground. He's just kept tweaking it and tweaking it, and it's like, you will like it. You will like it eventually. I will get you to like it, which is a bit bullheaded, but I have to respect that it's not losing its identity to make it more palatable for the mainstream.
Yeah, I agree because I feel like it's him trusting his instincts. Like, I have this instinct that this is gonna work and people don't like it at first, but I'm gonna see it through and it's gonna work. I feel like that is, yeah, you don't want to bend to other people's expectations, like a new, like you say, a new audience coming in. And I do think that like having title matches that have on TV and having the champion wrestle on TV is another one of those AEW things. You wouldn't have that on WWE, and people are like, well, why is Hangman wrestling? He won the championship. It's like, well, he's not Roman Reigns, and he's not, he doesn't wrestle 4 times a year. That's what a champion should be like. You might disagree, but that's the way it's done in AEW, and that's part of its identity. So I do think that I I prefer that, him defending against Lee Moriarty a couple days later than being that part-timer. And I know that there is a middle ground there. There certainly is a middle ground, but I'm sure you know what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah, and I think it depends on the performer, because if it's like MJF, it works for his character and it builds a level of prestige.
Oh
And
yeah.
then with Moxley and the Death Riders, that whole point was to be satirical and like tyrannical
Yep.
and all that. So
And also,
yeah,
like, Hangman put out an open challenge. He is a fighting champ, and a young, hungry talent answered it. Makes sense.
yeah. So we're going to start at the start because
Yeah.
we are jumping ahead of it. But
Yeah.
so Hangman, though, on the vein of that, Hangman addresses being brought to his limit by Fletcher. There's a very, very good match. I enjoyed the build. I thought the match was perfectly played, and then the way that both men played it off afterwards was great. Kyle looked strong. He looked even more legitimate and even more credible, even though he'd lost because he'd gone toe to toe with Hangman. And you can tell that there's, even for Fletcher, who's quite arrogant, there's like a begrudging amount of respect there, and that definitely came through in this promo that Hangman was delivering at the start.
Yeah, 100%. This was a typically good Hangman promo, and he put Kyle over big time, and as he should. Like, it was completely justified given what happened in the match, and it, he, like you said, he said, oh, he pushed me to my limit, and Kyle doesn't look any weaker, or he hasn't suffered for this loss, which I think we all expected.
Yeah. We all expected for sure, but it's still pretty cool. And then also he put over his match against Lee Moriarty later that night, and then that led into the Demand versus Brodido for the tag titles, aka Maximum Aura versus, well, I won't say Zero Aura. I think maybe 5 aura points,
Oh, how
maybe.
generous.
I don't know what the scale is, but I liked how they said when you're in demand, you can make demands. That's why they called a demand. You're not in demand. Like it's the delusion for me. It's the delusion for me.
The level of delusion that I aspire to in life.
But I like how I said this in my. Did I say it in a review? Did I say it in the All Out review? I can't remember. I said it somewhere. I like the soft relaunch though because version 1.0 did not work. It did not land, and I think them being more cohesive, even the fact that they're now abbreviating it to GOA,
Oh
it
my stupid ass was like, what the fuck is Goa?
what's Goa when it's at home? But it was also funny because they were like, oh yeah, we're supposed to be going for trios, but Shibata's out, so guess we'll go for tag titles. Like, that just felt quite lame for me.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
oh, like the tag titles are just second thought to him.
yeah, exactly.
I just
Oh, okay.
didn't.
I
I get
guess
the
we'll settle
sentiment.
for this.
Yeah, I get the sentiment, but the way it was delivered was just a bit. It made
Yeah,
me laugh.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, I love how Brodido looked coming out on their entrance. They're so cool. I feel like we say this every week, but it's something that shouldn't work, but it works and it gets better every week. And they're just so lovable. And then I was thinking, how the fuck are they going to break this team up? Because this is really a case of like a better than you baby thing where they probably were put in place to be transitional champions. They were only put together because of like the hype and these are two really good guys, put them together, see what happens, maybe have them together for a little bit, pull them apart. But now it's like I feel like when they pull them apart, it's gonna be massive ramifications. Can you imagine if one of them has a heel turn on the other one?
no, that'll be
It'd be
awful.
heartbreaking.
Yeah, it'd be really sad. I feel like because Brody King's the big monster guy that he would be the obvious choice for a heel, but then that'd be really boring and formulaic. But then Bandido is so likable and charismatic and sort of goofy.
So then they just have to be together forever because if they
Yeah,
can't break up.
that's fine. That's fine.
This is the paradox that the conundrum that they've brought themselves into. My God, commentary were putting over Bishop Khan hard, weren't they?
Yeah.
Fucking hell, Bishop Khan, he's best thing since sliced bread. They absolutely were foaming at the mouth for Bishop Khan.
I mean, I get it.
You get it? I mean, fair. But poor, what's the other
I
guy
don't
called?
even know his name. That's the whole. That just sums it up.
No, I know
Poor
his name, but I
Leona.
don't want to say it wrong. I can see the letters.
Leona.
Tower Leona.
Oh, Leona. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they were paying absolutely dust to him. They were paying dust. They didn't say one good thing about him, but Bishop Khan.
Oh, he's
Fucking
the
hell.
best wrestler in the entire
Sun
world,
shines out of his
apparently.
ass. The way they were hyping him was just mad. Do you ever do that though? Because I feel like as a commentator, you can manipulate situations. Like, if you wanted to, you could just hijack the show and start putting over a jobber. Like, can you imagine how funny that would be?
I mean, I think I'm probably guilty of being a bit biased towards the wrestlers who I'm like friends with. I think I'm a little bit biased against the people I don't like. But no, we're not
Last tea.
we won't go into that. But yeah, I feel like I know I really do try my best to be equal and just follow what's happening in the ring. But yeah, yeah, I don't know. Moving on. I'll tell you what's funny about commentary on this was Ricochet.
Ricochet's great.
He was pretty much burying the Gates wagon and basically be like, I taught them everything they know. I taught them how to do a full Nelson. And it was just like it's brilliant for him that he's taken all the credit and yeah, making it out like all their success is down to him.
Absolutely.
That's pretty much all he said on commentary, but it worked really well.
But I still didn't feel anything when GOA were wrestling. Like, I still didn't feel what I needed to feel. But I do think it's better. I think it's a marginal improvement to what it was.
Yeah, I think so.
But I still don't feel connected.
Me neither, because Ricochet has the character, and they're sort of giving nothing other than big, strong dudes. Okay.
Generic.
Yeah. We have a lot of big, strong dudes. You're gonna have to give me a little bit more than I'm a big, strong dude with a cocky manager. Do you know what I mean? And that's again not a slight on them. I thought this match was really good. I really enjoyed it. But it is what it is in terms of character work.
The ending was exciting. We had Bandito missing the frog splash. Well, this was just before the ending, sorry. Bandito misses the frog splash, and then Brody was sent over the timekeeper's table. Ricochet gets in the ring with a chair, but Aubrey ejects him. Bandito does a roll up, but Aubrey was distracted just as, not even from a distraction, but because Ricochet was going up the entrance, she just got down before. And if she'd have gotten down, then she would have done the free count. And it wasn't that important because obviously Brodido still won. But I really liked that because it was such like a small attention to detail. And the fact that then Brodido didn't win from like a quick roll up, it just didn't feel lazy. It just felt like a really small, nice detail, and I liked it.
100%. Yeah, like you would normally expect that just to be it. Oh, that's it. That's the end. But it was nice that it continued after that and had you more like on the edge of your seat because you're like, oh, I wasn't expecting that.
And then we had the Bandito roll up, which I've always said. I've just repeated the same sentence. I've got podcast rust, even though I was here on Sunday. I say that, but I just talk shit every week. But at least I have an excuse for this episode. No, sorry.
Yeah, we're
The
rusty.
Gates of Agony spiked Bandito. The pin was broken up. Brody, Brody. I'm trying to say Tope and Brody at the same time. Brody did a Tope, which allowed Bandito. We will make it to the end of this match, which allowed Bandito to capitalise, and Brodido took the win.
Oh, amazing. Beautiful. We got there. Yeah,
That was the match.
that was it. That was the match. It was good.
I like the ending.
Yeah,
I like the ending. I will say
ending
that.
was exciting. And again, not really what you were expecting to happen. But it was
Which was this show, wasn't it? There was a lot of things that's what I call a
You
show.
just
Things
didn't
that you didn't
expect.
expect to happen. Orange
Yeah.
Cassidy coming out of the paint, didn't expect to happen. Kris Statlander turning on Death Riders, didn't expect to happen. But it was fun.
Yeah, it's good when you get bit of a curveball. Keeps you on your toes, like
Swerved. So then we had Alicia with the conglomeration who were wanting to fight as the proposed, well, Matt Briscoe proposed, all out with the Don Callis family. So it's going to be Matt Briscoe, Hologram, and a mystery man. And then they just all started taking the piss by, well, it first started by putting shades on. Then Kyle O'Reilly was like, where is my mind? And then commentaries rub it in were just like, who on earth could they be talking about? And it was quite ridiculous, and it did kind of spoil the surprise a bit. But when he came out of the painting, because I know we're jumping ahead, but when he came out of the painting, it worked because this segment was silly and absurdist and funny, and that is very Orange Cassidy. And then the painting that happened later, well, I forgot he was even returning because I've got a shot of him. If there's something that happens 2 segments ago, I've completely forgotten it. And then he comes out with the painting, and I was like, fuck, I wasn't expecting that. So yeah.
just relies on wrestling fans having like a 2-second memory span.
I do.
Um,
I do.
yeah, I mean it was hilarious. Matt Briscoe was like, "There's nothing that you can say to me that'll squeeze this answer out of me." It was so funny.
Daft.
It was daft. Love a bit of daftness. And
Dafties.
unfortunately, I did have him coming out of the painting like spoiled for me, but I also sort of wasn't expecting it. Like, I don't know.
Oh,
It
I saw
kind of
that he came. I saw everything on Instagram this week. Like everything came up because I watched the show after work, as you do too, mostly. So on Instagram, I saw Orange Cassidy coming out the painting. I saw Darby Allin with a flamethrower, and I was surprised
yeah.
every
So was
time.
I.
Like I was like, what the hell?
Yeah, so was I. Oh my God, the joys of brain rot. We just don't fucking remember anything.
I've already forgotten the show. I might just rewatch it now. I've forgotten who came back.
Yeah, I
It's the gift
mean,
that keeps on giving.
yeah, and you read through your notes and you're like, oh my God, Orange Cassidy was in it. And you get to relive it for the third time.
Uh, so then we had Stat with Harley Cameron, and I believe it was Renee that was interviewing her. Harley Cameron, very energetic, very high energy. The start of it was very nonchalant, very quiet, which I understand the critique of like people being like, I can't see Start as a champion. I do think it's a bit of what's the word? It's a bit jerks you out a bit because you've just had Tony Storm who's full of charisma, and this isn't to say Kris Statlander isn't, but she's not really a
They're different.
talker. She's very soft spoken. But then again, I have to respect it because Start is a day one. She's very fucking good. She's a lovely person. She's a great wrestler, very loyal, and she's being a world champion her way. And I think you have to respect that.
Yeah, she's been authentic, and obviously you're going to compare, it's difficult not to compare that to Tony, who is very much the character of the promos is probably her strongest suit, even though she's fantastic in the ring as well, but that's very much her. Um, but then, and it's like she's acting. She's got a very over dramatic act going on, whereas you turn to Kris and it feels more authentic and more grounded, more real, and quiet. So yeah, it is quite a stark comparison, but yeah, totally good for her. I was freaking shocked that she won. I in my sort of predictions, I was like, nah, there's no chance, and if no one's gonna pin Tony and blah 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 blah. I was so wrong. Um, I know you were like, I don't really know what to think about it. I feel like I'm kind of the same. As much as I like Kris, I'm just sort of like, I don't know. I don't know if this is
Well, I think I was
sort of
I was
torn.
jumping ahead a lot today, but I do think I was won over by the way that the ending segment won. I think that I
Okay.
thought, wow, like she's awesome, and I'm really excited to see a championship reign now because it's not
Mm,
what I was expecting. When she won, well, going into it, there were rumors online, oh, she might drop the title to her, she might drop the title to Kris. I didn't even entertain it. I didn't even
me neither.
entertain it at all. I thought, no, she's winning because I had a version of events locked in my head, and I was like, my fantasy booking is going to
Mhm.
happen, and yeah, yeah, obviously she won, and then when it was announced that she was going to defend right away, I was very, like I said at the start, very much like, oh, because I'm like, how is she gonna? I know that speaking isn't and promo cutting isn't a strong suit, but how is she going to get over and show that she's got a different side to her as a champion if she's not able to speak, if she's just wrestling? But then that segment did perform, so yeah, she also said she was asked about the Death Riders and she said things can move really quickly when you make decisions, which was a great
Yeah.
foreshadow towards the end of the night. And I also thought even though it didn't work out in the Death Riders' favour, that's such like a cultish way to go about things to recruit people by giving them something that they've always wanted and promising them something, giving them something tangible, and then kind of inducting them in. And at that point, I thought she's definitely gonna be inducted in, but I thought that was like a nice edge to the Death Riders. Because before it hasn't really felt like that. It's like, why do Claudio and Yuta and that even follow John Moxley? Because he's not the world champion. They only won like the trios title once. Like, what is actually the point? But then I think when they're focusing on the actual cultish nature of it and pulling Chris in felt like that, then it's quite intriguing to me.
Yeah, because it's like manipulating people. And yeah, that's such an interesting way of looking at it. Like Yuta giving her the technique to win the championship and then just assuming, yeah, you're part of us now. Congratulations, welcome to the gang. And then her being able to swap that on its head. And when she said things move very fast when you make decisions, I thought, oh, she's referring to the decision of joining the Death Riders or at least like entertaining them. And yeah, I just thought how how effective is that she's the one who has actually, I would say, like outsmarted them sort of, and managed to get one up on them and actually manipulated them. So yeah.
And I think at this point in the show as well, it was interesting because you definitely thought because of how Harley had been used all out, and now here, like, she's going to get caught in the firing lines. And so when
Yeah.
she delivered that line of things can move really quickly when you make decisions, it felt quite ominous towards Harley and like, what is she sort of walking into? So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, I'm just stopping myself from talking too much about this because it's actually about a segment that's later. So
yeah,
it's later. We can talk
hold
about
your
it.
horses. So next up, we had Hangman versus Lee Moriarty. Um, which apparently it was Lee Moriarty's home city or home state. I can't remember exactly, but he was a hometown boy. One way or the other. Hangman came in hot. He had a lot of pyro, but he didn't have any time. He was straight down to the ring, which is like, why is he so fired up? Like, I was trying to work that out. Like, is it just he's a fired up, impassioned babyface and he can't wait to go and he's raring for a fight? Or
Mm.
did the fight with Kyle Fletcher shake him up? Is he having, is it, should I deep it? Like, is he having like a bit of, what's the word? Like, he's getting a bit shaken up by being world champion. Is he having like insecurities or anything like that creeping in? Is he feeling the pressure? Or am I just over reading him storm into the ring? Maybe.
Potentially. No, I think you're right to think about it on that level because I feel like with everything that Adam Page does, there's a reason, and he's thought about it and he's thought, well, why would I be fired up? I think maybe I don't know. I guess I would attribute it to being relieved and fired up that he's defeated Kyle Fletcher and excited. Just I guess just typical babyface things, but it's interesting to consider there might be deeper things going on there.
Well, the typical babyface would be like lapping up the pyro, though, like a bit more
Mm,
egotistical and smiling and performing for the crowd, whereas he looked like he was there for a fight. But is that to show like he's taking Lee Moriarty seriously, even
yeah.
though he's lower down on the card? And it would have made more sense to me if he'd fought MJF, say, and he has kind of like a blood feudy type thing with him and
Oh
he's
yeah.
heated after the match. But with Kyle Fletcher, the match was very definitive. When he came out at the start of the show, he was very calm and he was very much like, I respect Kyle Fletcher and I'm ready for Lee Moriarty. And then he came out and he was from 0 to 100. I was like,
Mm.
what the hell? But yeah, I don't know. Well, I don't know.
Or maybe it's because he watched Kris Statlander's promo and he was like, oh no, she's joining the Death Riders. I'm so angry, and then that made him feel passionate.
Maybe, maybe. But yeah, the Lee Moriarty video package definitely added a lot at the start of
Yeah, it was really
this
good.
match. Really good stuff. He's obviously the Ring of Honor Pure Champion, so it was a very technical match, as to be expected. Hangman was shown as a fighting champion without looking weak. I thought the match felt very realistic
Yeah, it
because
did.
Lee Moriarty put up a good fight, but it didn't feel unbelievable the moves that he was doing and the way he was getting one up on Hangman. It didn't feel like like he's just getting his shit in to get over it. It genuinely felt like a wrestling match and it felt natural and it just felt good. It felt like a really good short fight. It got Lee Moriarty over and it was just a good introduction because obviously through doing this they're maybe considering moving him up or having him feature more, which is always a good thing. Even if he stays in Ring of Honor,
Yeah,
it's a good thing to have him featured
yeah,
because
absolutely.
that's how people are going to want to buy the pay-per-views when they put them on.
Yeah, I will say that this match was very eye-opening to me about Lee Moriarty, and I was like, oh, I think I need to be paying attention. This is the type of wrestling that I really enjoy. Maybe I should probably watch some of his matches, and that clearly is the intention. And yeah, like you say, even if he does stay on Ring of Honor or whatever, or if he does wrestle a bit more on AEW programming, that would be fantastic. And do you know what? I really liked the way they played out the ending. Hangman went for the Deadeye like 3 times, but because Moriarty was, the story being that he is a very apt technical wrestler, then he was able to escape it, and Hangman had to really try to hit the Deadeye, and he couldn't manage it at first. But then he hit it once, and that was the end of the match. It was very decisive. It wasn't like we're spamming finishers. It wasn't. He didn't. I don't believe he even hit the buckshot. So it's like the hierarchy is clearly still there. Hangman is still a very much fighting and deserving champion who is stronger than this other person. But Moriarty still had the chance to show his strengths and it to not be one-sided at all. So I thought the way they played that out was really clever.
Yep. So moving on to a really contentious segment, if the internet is to believe. This was Cope and Christian talking backstage about the fallout from All Out, where Beth returned, which was very shocking
Crazy.
and
Last thing I
very
would have ever
awesome.
predicted.
Yeah, totally. And she looked badass, and the
Yeah.
segment was a lot of fun. But yeah, he said, I don't know if I can keep doing this. My family's getting caught up in it now, and I don't know if I'll come back. Christian's like, I don't have a family. And Christian was very vulnerable in this. It felt like very small, very vulnerable. And it felt like from this going forward, I was like, is he going to be more sympathetic? Because it feels like he's quite a vulnerable target. Like he doesn't have
Yeah.
Copeland anymore. He doesn't have his family. So how can he go around throwing his weight around? I don't know. He just came across as like, I don't know, really sympathetic. And then Cope was like, yes, you do. Like, I'm your family. And yeah, there's just a lot of theories going around this. Like, why?
Yeah, well, it's interesting, isn't it? Because I believe that Copeland did say in an interview not that long ago he's got 2 years left on his contract. But some people do genuinely think, oh, he's going to WWE. He's going to face John Cena in his last match. Delusional. But yeah, why? The thing was about that match against FTR was that it felt very much like, oh, this isn't over. This actually isn't the last match we're going to have. Oh, he's nearly just killed my wife. I want to kill you type situation. It felt not like a full stop at all. So then to have this segment where it's basically like, bye, I'm going, I can't do this anymore. Which, yeah, makes sense, I guess, but it just felt quite jarring and it is confusing. Like, yeah, just confusing. I don't really know what to think.
Yeah, and I do think it would have been absolutely lovely if that was true. Like, if we lived in a world where Adam Copeland could trot off and retire John Cena, but that is just not the working relationship
I don't think
AEW has
that's
with
going to
WWE, and
happen.
it's like you say, if he has a contract for 2 effing years, like
I could
what
be
the
wrong. I might be
fuck?
misremembering, but I'm sure his contract doesn't come up for at least a year. That's you can't
Yeah,
overrule these things. It's kind of wishful thinking.
and I agree that it didn't feel like it was over because I think for me, I felt like this is Beth coming to wrestle because she
Yeah,
was in ring gear. Like if she wasn't in ring gear, I wouldn't have thought that. But the fact she was in ring gear and then she was very active in the match and speared Stokely and took a bump herself, like took the shot machine. No, she took the shot machine, but she yeah,
she
she
took
was
a
involved.
right pile driver.
Yeah, she was heavily involved.
Exactly.
So I'm like, surely that's some involvement, but then maybe it's like a realignment. Maybe it's Christian. This is my theory. Christian is going to come across as really sympathetic. He's going to be alone. The matriarchy are going to target him, obviously, now. I think because Cope's out of the picture, that leaves a bit of a vacuum. Jurassic Express can slot in because Christian and his history with Jack Perry is quite extensive. So I think that would enable them to bring them in without it being too convoluted because there's Copeland and there's da-da-da and there's FTR and there's all this lot.
Yeah.
That can
Yeah.
also lead FTR to go trot off and maybe win the tag titles. So maybe it's just to just create some sort of space, and maybe when Copeland comes back, maybe he might have more of a heel turn, or maybe Christian might be like, oh well, I've done all this and I've got Jurassic Express now and I've got my new friends
Got a new
and he's
family.
heel.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I guess it depends what the end goal is, because if this is the retirement run for Christian, Copeland, or both, then you want them both to be together and be as faces. But the way this is playing out and how kind of convoluted it is, not necessarily in a bad way, but obviously there's a lot of long-term storytelling going in and lots of people
Mm.
coming in now. It feels less like the retirement tour that I think people theorized, and more just like they're just having so much fun,
Mm.
and
Mm-hmm.
they're just gonna change their characters and see where it takes them, sort of thing.
Yeah,
I
which
could be wrong.
isn't. I think you got to make some really good points. It's not necessarily a bad thing that it's like
I'm just not reading it as retirement run, and I feel
no,
like I would get that by now.
no. I
But
don't
maybe I'm
think I
wrong.
am either. No, I quite like your idea, and I think it's a really good point that this gives Christian some space to follow a different path, and explore that matriarchy storyline to the full to its full potential now that Nick Wayne is Nick Wayne back? I believe he is.
He's back, but he's wheelchair bound.
Yeah, right. Okay, so maybe not, but you know what? Maybe once he's back, then that can be a program and that'll be played out and allowed to breathe, for lack of a better term. So, and then, yeah, it'd be interesting when that dynamic when Cope does come back and how does he deal with Christian, maybe with his new family. So, yeah, I think, I just don't think it's as dramatic as people seem to think on the internet. Like, oh my God, he's leaving for WWE. Like, no, I don't think he is.
That's great drama and great like buzz to draw up from a storyline. I think it would be good
True.
for Copeland to do something like that because he's a very cheesy character, as I
Yeah,
said
he is.
last week. He's very corny, but he has a massive
So true.
fucking ego. So let's
Mm.
play on that corny ego and see sort of. I think we could have. I mean, Edge, come on, he's like the heel. Like he is the heel back in the day.
Mhm.
That's what
So
he
true.
was best at. No one remembers Edge as a freaking what a babyface. I mean, he did have great
Mm.
babyface runs too, but when I think of Edge, I think heel. And obviously Adam Copeland's a totally different entity.
Yeah.
I get that, but he's still got those traits from his early days of in his character. So I think that'd be really, really fun. And I think it would elevate him a lot more. But I just love the FTR matriarchy, Copeland Christian stuff because it's giving so many people, like potentially, hopefully, Jurassic Express being drawn a bit, so much to do. And they're not just
Yeah.
meandering around and they're actually in an engaging storyline. It doesn't matter that in reality, Kip Sabian is a D-lister. You know, he's like a jobber, he's a creative wrestler on the
Which,
card. It don't fucking matter because he's in the matriarchy and he feels
yeah.
mega right now. It don't
Yeah.
matter that Christian is world title material legend. They're all leveled and they're all in this equally interesting dynamic. And that's what makes it fun.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, there's a lot of potential for different directions it can go and yeah, 100% agree. Like, and also just someone like Shayna Wayne getting the chance to be a character on TV, and who would have thought that however many like last year or whatever. And she's brilliant and she's brilliant and I love her. So yeah, 100% agree with you.
It makes the show better because you were saying earlier about how you like the variety, and it's like this is kind of your drama, this is your sports entertainmenty
Yeah.
bit, and you getting that little fill along with all like the championships and the sport wrestling and the tournaments and
Blood.
loads of shit. So it's just another layer on the cake.
Bit of soap opera.
Bit of soap opera, yes. Then we had moving on from that, we had FTR, who were speaking after what happened at All Out and them attacking Beth. Stoke says he allowed her to spear him. And I loved
He's
how whiny
chivalrous.
FTR were in this. I found this hilarious. The funniest bit for me was when Dax was trying to reason why he'd done the spiked pile driver on Beth. And the flawed logic was hilarious. It was like,
I would never hurt
I
a
was trying
woman.
to reason with her. And then she punched me in the face, and then I thought she was Adam Copeland, so then I accidentally dropped her on her head. It was so funny. It was the delivery that had me pissing myself.
Yeah, yeah, these two. And I'm glad that they did it and Stokely didn't like that part because it's like you said, the delivery. It was
Because he seemed so committed to
yes,
it. Like he
exactly.
really seemed like he believed
It
every
was
word that he was
very
saying, even though he was
passionate.
like, Beth, then he punched me in the face. And then I thought you were Adam Copeland. It's like that makes absolutely zero sense. It was like, and then shit, I dropped you on your head. How did that happen? It was so
Oopsie.
funny.
I'm so
Very
clumsy.
delusional. Um, yeah, then he goes on, he's like and I used the term woman lightly, which then led to Willow coming out. She said she looked up to Beth, and women like Beth are the reason women like me don't take shit from guys like you. I was like, woof, go
Feminism.
girl. Yeah, and then she did this cheap shot to Stokely while he was talking. He dropped the mic, and then Jet Speed just materialized out of thin fucking
Yeah, I
air,
know.
like
Where did they come from?
out of nowhere. Things break down. There was a bit of a scuffle, but Jet Speed with Willow stand tall, and I thought these three looked really, really great together. Get Jet Speed in conglomeration. Get everyone in fucking conglomeration.
I
But
mean, it
they
was.
have the same aura.
Oh, it just felt very random. I don't know. Have I missed something like what's the jet speed stakes in this? I'm not saying I disliked it because it's a very cute little trio, quite a wholesome trio. But yeah, I was just a bit like, okay, yeah, you just baby faces materializing whenever heels are being nasty.
Yeah, they
Fine.
actually are though. Like a weird Justice League of yeah. As soon as they're just in catering, and then they're just like, oh, we've got to go get
Oh,
ourselves involved.
Willow
They're
needs
dead
help.
nosy, aren't they?
Yeah, that's it. They're sticking the nose in.
They are. Well, it don't really belong. Like it hadn't even broken down into a fight or anything. Like no one was
No.
attacking anyone, and Jet Speed just like genies, like a tornado, vroom, and then they were there like summoned. It's like all right.
I can't even. That image of them coming out of a lamp. Oh my God. I just can't get
Oh,
that
that is a
get that
weird image. I
picture
don't
out
know
of my
why I've
head.
got a really graphic image.
Yeah,
That
me
sounds
too.
weird, but like not graphic, vivid. Not
Yeah, I know.
graphic,
Same.
vivid.
I know what you
Vivid is
mean.
the word. It's very comedic. I need
Same.
someone to draw it
Yeah,
or
please.
animate
Do
it.
we have any artists in the audience who can please draw jet speed as like genies? Anyway.
Then we had MJF, who was very pissed off.
Oh, poor guy. Poor guy.
Poor guy. He was the guy, and he had like a really reflective moment, I think. He talked about Adam Cole, he broke his ankle and his heart. He lost the title, he rehabbed and he came back, but something's missing. He's a caricature. The tax are his doubts,
Playing
he's wearing
himself.
his doubts.
He's like playing
Oh,
MJF is what he said as
yeah, which a
well.
lot of people have said, like, oh, MJF don't feel like MJF is like a caricature of MJF, but it's like, what more could MJF do? Like, I don't
Well,
know what more people want. Like, he's literally like Jay Briscoe. He's like, oh, he's dead and you suck.
you
Like,
should be
and then
dead
he's
instead of him.
what more do you want? And how is that a caricature? 'Cause that's always what he's been. But I do get what he's saying. But like, people have genuine criticism. I'm like, I don't. What do you want differently?
Yeah, I think maybe some people, I don't, this sounds like I'm being patronizing, but maybe people don't understand that he is doing that on purpose. Like he's self-aware and he's like, yeah,
Yeah,
I
he's layered.
exactly, and I'm I'm playing a version of myself. I'm a caricature of myself, and that's literally the point of it.
I think people have really, and even us, like, have really probably unfair standards for MJF though.
Yeah, that's so true as
Like,
well.
because he's so great that people want 101 all the time, and that's just never gonna be the case. And also, like, he's not the main storyline of AEW right now. He's not the world champion. He's not chasing the world championship, so he doesn't need to be on 100 right now.
And also, can we just appreciate this man because he told a racist person to kill themselves on Twitter and then wrestled what I have heard is an absolute all-timer match with Mystico um, in Mexico, which I haven't watched and I've been meaning to. And then like 2 days later went and wrestled this horrifically gory match against Mark Briscoe. Like he's such a grafter.
He is, bless him, he is. So he said Osprey, Hangman Swerve, we're all playing in his dust, but now he's in theirs. And he's going away to go have his honeymoon
Yeah.
with Alicia, which is very well deserved because their wedding was literally in the midst of a busy wrestling calendar. So yeah, hopefully they have a lovely honeymoon. But he was like, my intention is to come back more dangerous. I'm like, fuck, you're covered in blood and tacks. Like, sit down.
Just have a
What you
rest.
on about more dangerous? Why don't you come back and be smiling, happy, and
Exactly, that's exactly what I was
doing a
about to
dance
say.
off? Why don't you do that?
Yeah, why don't you do some self-reflection and think, actually, the bitterness in my heart is no longer worth it. I love
How
everyone
funny would
and
that
be
be though
happy.
if he came back and his gimmick was the pacifist MJF?
Yeah, that
And then
would be real.
it would turn out like after a month of programming he'd be like, fuck this, and he'd become really violent. But like, can you imagine if he came back and he's like,
Hippie
I'm a
MJF.
changed man, I'm married, he's in like a white robe.
You know what, that would work as well because he could be like, I had the best honeymoon ever and it's really changed me and I
Yeah,
really
yeah, he's like, I went to like Bali, I went to like a spiritual retreat, I'm a
and
different man now.
I
And
watched
all
the
of his enemies,
waves.
Matt Briscoe could come in and be like, MJF, I'm gonna get you. And he's like, I'm so sorry for all those things that I've said. Like, I've killed Lucy. But you know what I mean? It would be really good. It'd be a really good
I'm
storyline.
just cracking up at your Mark Briscoe impression.
I know.
It was like the best thing ever. It was so accurate. Yeah, but okay, so yeah, he's been on his honeymoon. He's completely shagged out. He's been on the beach watching the waves. He's
Like
had a
Twilight.
massage.
Like in
Yeah,
Twilight when they go on the honeymoon.
yeah. Hopefully, Alicia's not going to be pregnant with a demon baby, but those kind of vibes and like he's done some yoga and some meditation. He's had his spiritual rest and he's like, actually, I love being alive and I love other people and I'm so sorry if I ever hurt you.
Yeah.
Perfect. Just
But then it would be comedic because people won't believe him. And he'd be
yeah,
quite empathetic.
yeah.
And then he'd get pushed to the point where he'd break and then he'd be even worse than ever. So we could still have the worst than ever, but like the pacifist era.
And that pushes him to be even worse because like, I was a good person. None of you believe me, so I'm
No,
gonna
maybe
prove you all
one person
right.
did right. No, one person does believe him and they're like his best mate. And MJF's like, oh, you're my disciple. But then, as all these other people don't believe him, when he snaps on the one person that did actually give a fuck about him.
Oh, it's getting deep. It's sort of giving Adam Cole a little bit as well. I,
Right.
MJF doesn't need more trauma.
Yeah, but trauma builds character.
Suffering builds character, suffering builds character, suffering builds character. Just a constant cycle for the poor lad.
Okay, so then speaking of art, we had Don Callis with his artwork. Which again, I don't know why it really took me out when he was like, I've been painting for 6 days and 6 nights," and it was like so impassioned. And then
I
yeah,
love
I don't
this
know, it just really took me out.
stupid facet of his character that he likes to
That he's a
paint
painter.
things when a
Like
big
it's
thing
so
happens, and
daft.
yeah, isn't it? Because they're always absolutely huge as well. Do you know what I mean? Like they're always these massive extra paintings. Like that would take you months.
Well, he stayed up 6 days and 6 nights. It's just
Oh, struggling
ridiculous.
artist, starving artist.
Uh, so then the painting gets wheeled out and Orange Cassidy comes through it. And then Don Callis again was really funny because his selling of this was like, "My painting! My painting!" But like the whole entrance was just like having crashing out over the painting. It was so funny, man.
Yeah, I mean, it was again like we were saying before. I didn't expect it, so that made it even funnier. And you know what also really cracked me up when Orange Cassidy moved out the way when I can't remember who it was went to tackle him, just went absolutely storming towards him. He just stepped out the way and sent them through the painting.
Oh yeah, he absolutely like just launched him. It was so funny. And it was really funny as well when he gets in the ring. And just even though like a couple of minutes later they started beating on him, but just the ridiculousness of him taking down Okada and Takeshita
Yeah, when
was
he
ridiculous.
took down two of them with a single drop kick, and he got up and he winked at the camera with his hands in his pocket. And I basically swooned.
Oh my God. Um but yeah, this match was interesting, I think. So there was a lot of Hechicero and Hologram getting into it,
Yeah,
which was pretty nice to be fair, because the luchadors kind of used to be segregated and just wrestle each other, but now they're a lot more integrated into the roster, which I
yeah,
do think is a better thing. But then it was really nice to just see two luchadors going at it.
100%, 100%. That was like probably my favorite thing about this match was the lucha aspects of it, and it was very a lot of innovative offense that you don't see as often in just like as in like different moves that you don't often see in um what am I trying to say, like American wrestling, I suppose. Like it was just a bit different, and it was really nice. But I do think I don't know if you agree, or maybe I don't know if it's just me that thought that I felt like Matt Briscoe got a little bit lost in this.
I think he did, but I don't think that's a bad thing. I mean, he
Mm.
doesn't like, yeah, protect him. He's just done a brutal match, and it's Orange Cassidy's return and
True.
stuff. So I really
So
do
true.
not think that's a bad thing at all.
Yeah, absolutely. I just feel like yeah, not really criticism, but just at the end when he appeared to celebrate, I was like, oh, I fucking forgot you're even in this match.
I found it a bit weird though that Hologram got the win with the portal bomb on Hechicero, because it's like Orange Cassidy's return match, so it
Yeah,
just feels a bit. But that's not a bad thing either because it was unexpected, which was fun. It was a fun swerve, but yeah, I would have thought that the person coming back would pick up the win, but
yeah, me too.
and then it was really funny because Kyle Fletcher comes out and he's looking strong, he's looking good after all out, and then he challenged Hologram, which was like, oh, suddenly the sun shines out of Hologram's ass. We're bringing the streak back, even though the streak's
That's not
been
been mentioned
out
forever.
for ages. Yeah. And then he was like, title versus streak, which is hilarious because obviously Kyle Fletcher's going to beat him. So I just found that really funny that all this build and they're just going to feed him to Kyle Fletcher. But then
Yeah.
what also cracked me up was, can we talk about the shitness of say my full name? That's bloody terrible.
I don't get
Who
it.
told him that was a good idea? You will say my full name. What?
Yeah, I don't get it. Like, what is, have you got a middle name you're not telling us about? What?
He was just calling him Kyle. Like, what was Hologram just going around going, "What's up, Kyle?" Like, I
I,
don't.
I do feel
It'd
like it's
work more
come
for
from
MJF,
somewhere.
but it'd work more for MJF because MJF could be like, "Say my full name, Maxwell Jacob Friedman." But it feels like MJF like the delivery.
I feel like
I'm
it's
the best, and you know it. Like,
yeah.
I get what he's trying to go for. He's trying to have a little zinger. He's trying to be the full package, but
Is it?
Someone needed to hold him back and just be like, "No, bud, this ain't it.
Well, is he trying to say
You're gonna
like,
embarrass
oh,
yourself."
say I am the proto star Kyle Fletcher, as in like say the full title, or I feel like I feel like this has come from somewhere, but I can't remember where or like what this is referencing. But it doesn't really work because yeah, his name is Kyle Fletcher. It's like the most. It's a pretty generic, really,
Generic.
like, no
Yeah,
offense, there's nothing wrong with his name. It's just his name.
I like
Love
it,
the
Fletcher.
guy.
It's really like Fletcher. It just sounds awful. Like, ugh. Sounds like flesh. I like it.
Oh,
It suits him.
but it's a very normal name. It's just not like you said, MJF. It's a full ass title. There's a lot of syllables there. Kyle Fletcher could
Yeah, if
be.
it was like Sir Kyle Fletcher, it's
Yeah,
like
right.
say my full name. Yeah, or if you add like an abbreviation like Tom Fletcher, and his title Sir Thomas Fletcher.
Yeah, right.
I get it. Yeah, it makes no sense. And it's like, why
Mm.
didn't he do something with the proto star? Yeah, why didn't he be like the proto star? Like, why didn't he like? That's equally shit, but you know what I mean? Like,
It'd be better
that
than
makes sense at least.
be better than say my full name. Like, okay, Kyle
But it was
Fletcher.
funny.
There you go.
It was funny because it suddenly hologram's the hottest thing since sliced bread.
No, it's ridiculous. It makes no sense.
Then
Like,
he's like, say my full name, and
why
it
are we
was just
suddenly
ridiculous.
acting like hologram streak is this like prestigious thing? You fucking wrestled Hangman Adam Page 2 days ago, my dude. I don't
Yeah, he was
really
like,
get it.
and I need to challenge the guy, the biggest star. I'm thinking Orange Cassidy because like he's
Mm,
returned. Matt Briscoe, he got a win on MJF. Pissing hologram. But I think it's Tony Khan's hard-headedness because Tony Khan's got hard on for hologram because he
yeah,
made him in Create a Wrestler as a kid, and now he's got
yeah,
him as like an action figure. And he didn't really get I mean, I know there's a lot of hologram lovers, right? I agree he's a good wrestler, but he didn't get him over to the extent that he wanted him to get over. And then now it's like I feel like all these new fans coming in. He's like, "Fuck yeah,
this is
run
my
hologram
chance.
back." But he's obviously going to lose the streak. So
Yeah,
it's
that's
like building it up. I mean, can you imagine if hologram wins the TNT title? That would be hilarious.
I was just about to say maybe they're going to pull something out of left field that we're not expecting that's going to launch into an interesting story, but I don't think he's going to beat Kyle Fletcher. Um,
Does hologram
yeah.
speak? I thought he's non-verbal.
No, I don't think he does speak. Um, if we're deep in it, I kind of think that maybe you could go along the lines of, oh, well, Kyle Fletcher, he said in this promo, like, oh, I felt really crushed, but then I looked in the mirror and remembered who the hell I am, and I'm on track to becoming the best TNT champion of all time, and he's kind of like picked the lowest hanging fruit, which is adding something to
But
his
I
resume.
don't think that's how AEW is presenting hologram as
Well,
the lowest hanging fruit.
I
Though,
know,
I think
right?
in our minds,
I know.
but I think AEW wants you to think he's like the top fucking dog.
Well, yeah. It, I'm just deep in it, and I doubt this is it, but like thinking, just trying to make sense of it. If Fletcher sees his streak as like, well, I can't have Hangman's title, but I'll take your streak, you little bitch. I don't.
It'll be a great wrestling match, though. It will be great in
Yeah.
ring. I think these two will really, really be good together, and I'm excited for next week. Dynamite, 6 years of Dynamite.
Yeah, how exciting.
The card looks pretty good so far,
I mean,
and
it's
yeah,
interesting
lots
they
of
set
fun.
quite a lot of matches for it today.
Maybe
Yeah.
it'll get a bit of overtime. It usually does.
hmm hmm
Like 20 minutes overtime, something. So then we had Mina with Renee. It was pretty run-of-the-mill promo, just talking about her match against Stat that night. Then we had the Jack Perry video package, which, it's still being shown, and it has a very scapegoaty lens through it. And
Mm.
speaking of which, Jurassic Express are going to return next week. But there's been a lot of talk about what Jurassic Express are going to look like. It's like, is it going to be back to Tarzan Boy, back to the full version? But the fact that we showed that video and him being like, sometimes your dream can become a nightmare. It seems like we're getting a cooler, a
Ooh.
cooler, edgier rendition of the tag team, which I'm really glad that they're going down the angle, and I'm excited to see what these two will do together.
I mean, I can't believe we haven't even talked about Jack Perry returning. Just congratulations, girl. I'm happy for you.
I know, it was just for me. No one else.
No,
No,
Tony
that
Khan did
was.
that for you.
And then Orange Cassidy coming back. Jay White. Just need
Yeah,
Jay White back.
no, we need to
Just need Jay White
complete
back.
the set.
Before the the classic
Hmm.
in December, so I can watch him win the tournament
Yeah,
in Manchester, and then he'll
fuck yeah.
become world champion, and we'll all breathe with the switchblade, baby. That's the
My God.
dream.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the dream, and we're manifesting it. And so far, it's worked. I'm pretty sure we talked about the potential of Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus coming back together. I think we did. Um, and just like when at All Out, when that music played and everyone was singing along, I mean, that was just serotonin overload. It was
It
just so
really was.
beautiful. And
It really was.
I guess it's kind of a difficult line for them to tread. Like, do we fully lean into like the fans want to sing along in the music and they really liked the old version, or do they try and do something new? But they could probably strike a balance between them, I think.
I think I saw someone describe it as before it was a boy and his dinosaur, but now it's a man and his monster,
Oh, yes.
which is pretty cool. So yeah, I'm excited to see where they go with it, because I agree. I think it'll be a balance. So it'll be interesting to see how that balance is struck. So then we had a match that I'm sure you found very tasty, as I certainly did. It was Hobbs versus Claudio Castagnoli. It was heated as fuck. It was
Yeah,
just
it
a
was.
straight out brawl. It had bar brawl vibes. This.
Didn't it? Didn't it? I thought to myself it was quite certainly at first very scrappy fighting, and like it wasn't pretty. They weren't like doing a rehearsed move set or anything. It felt like they were actually fighting. It was hard hitting big guy stuff. Like two really muscular guys, sort of like trying to one up each other, sort of like having a masculinity face off.
A
I
dick
think,
measuring contest.
yeah, that's what I'm trying to get at basically. And I think it got to a point where Claudio was like, "Oh, I am actually being overpowered," and he's not used to that. And I like the story that they
Such a
told
cool
on
dynamic.
yeah, I love the story they told on commentary about that, like, and also they played the other way as well. Like, Al Powerhouse Hobbs usually ends the match way sooner than this, and how's he gonna adapt to Claudio, like matching his power, etc. So, anyway, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. I just feel like the ending made sense when you think of that story, but it was pretty boring. So, Pac got up on the apron, distraction, and then Claudio rolled Hobbs up for the win, and it just felt a bit like, oh, a bit lame, a bit boring to be fair, but it also made sense.
Yeah, because then at least like Hobbs didn't come out weak, like he didn't get pinned cleanly. And also, I want to say what a credit it is that these two are such great mid carders.
Oh,
Like, there's no real reason to care about them. They're not in weekly entertaining storylines.
not
They're not in
champions.
title matches,
Yeah.
but they're just two really fucking good wrestlers where every time they get in the ring, you care and you love them. And
Hmm.
it'd be great to see them do something, don't get me wrong, but just two great, reliable mid carders that can go out week on week and put on a great show.
100%. And if you're interested in hearing us talk a bit about the nuance of the mid card, we have an episode all about that. So go and find it and listen, and we talk a lot more about this type of thing in depth.
So yeah, I didn't hate the finish so much, but then the fallout from that was that Joe came down, Samoa Joe that is, Death Riders fleed, the ones that were outside the ring. Hobbs sent Claudio out. Yuta and Daniel Garcia are able to then get back in, and there's sort of a numbers game. And then Hangman comes out and sort of clears it, which it was fine, but it was also just like the Death Rider stuff that we've seen a million, bajillion, gazillion, mawillion times, and it's very boring.
It's like what you said on your review, like, I'm sick of beatdowns all the time. We've been there and done that. I feel like this story is flatlining. We're not progressing at all.
They
I
need to do
just,
infighting. They just need to start fighting each other. They need to
yes.
start having tension and doing segments, and then at least if Yuta and Claudio and Pac are teaming up and they're having a trios match, at least there's the intrigue of them in fighting, because that was what made them interesting when you watched those trios matches, was the tension between Yuta and Claudio, and will he give in to the Death Riders, will he or won't he? And then as soon as we lost that and he just became generic and stood with Moxley, that's when I think it really suffered, because it's just then three generic bad guys with no brain, no critical thinking skills, just Moxley's hounds.
Yeah.
So that was just bland, and we're continuing that on. And Daniel Garcia is now also a generic hound with no identity, which is exactly why I was not hyped for him to join the Death Riders.
Turns out you
But
were right.
y'all wanted him in there, so
Oh man, yeah. Still hoping it's gonna turn out in something, but I've said that so many fucking times.
They made the Tony Khan big announcement, which actually was fairly big. This was one of the theories that people were shouting out, and it came true. And that was that they launched the women's tag titles. Renee unveiled them. I thought the belts looked very, very beautiful,
Yeah,
very
absolutely.
prestigious.
That's stunning.
But yeah, I still don't really know. I'm not excited for it. Not in a bad way, but like I'll get excited for it when I see how they're going to present it.
hmm
I'm cautious about it, which is what I've been the whole time. Anytime someone's brought it up, but who do you want to be the first champions? Who do you think should win it? Because obviously it'll be like a tournament style thing, because he fucking loves them. But
Yeah, I guess it'll. Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I guess it'll be probably a tournament. When your mind forgets any wrestler you've ever known ever when you're asked a question. Um, I don't know, maybe Harley and Chris, but then that's sort of out the window. Well, not really necessarily out the window, but because she's the women's champion, but that maybe wouldn't make as much sense. I don't know. Anyone else? What do you think?
I'd really like to see it elevate people that aren't within the women's title scene. So I think Julia Hart and Sky Blue
Yeah,
would
yeah,
be great,
absolutely.
and Toxic Triangle, whatever they're called.
Yeah,
I think they've put in a lot of work and been plugging away, and it could really elevate them. I think that's
100%.
who the titles have been designed for. Hopefully,
Yeah.
is women like that. Yeah, I think that's kind of where what I'm leaning towards, but.
Agreed,
I
yeah.
think my prediction for the women's tag titles, and I hope I'm wrong, there'll be a big song and dance about the tournament. It'll be very, very good. The winners will, be great, and they'll have charisma. They'll be booked for a little bit, and then the depth of the roster won't be very deep, and it'll be like the trios titles, where it'll just be like a decoration, and it won't really be defended, because it hasn't really been that fought out. I hope I'm wrong. I would like to be proven wrong,
Yeah.
but yeah.
I think sadly that you're probably right. Um, which sucks, but I do. I understand that they've been trying to develop some tag teams of late, and it makes sense that this announcement has come now. But I just don't know how they're gonna keep up with it. I mean, that's three women's belts on a roster that is it's a great roster. Don't get me wrong, fantastic
But you
talents.
only get one women's match per Dynamite. So the way
Exactly.
to alleviate this really would be a brand split. And I've been saying this since day one, but the more titles there is, the more people there are. I just think a brand split would just be so much more easy, like TBS for Collision, Women's for this, Tag probably for Dynamite because it's more of a main show. I don't know any other. Well, there was talks though that they wanted to, with the TV networks, bring like a third show back or have Ring of Honor be like developmental, but then Ring of Honor's got a fuck ton of belts too.
I
I
know, right?
don't. It's just. But it's been a while. Tony Khan, he has held himself back from creating a belt in a while, bless him. So,
We can let him have
he's
this
getting a bit
one.
excited. He's like, hologram, get him on the card, women's tag belts. I don't know. I sound so negative about it, but it's not negative, it's realism.
I know,
It's just fucking realism.
I know, no, I completely understand where you're coming from. I don't think we're just from
Track
past
record, innit?
experiences being cautiously optimistic about something and having reservations.
So then we got onto the main event, which was Stat versus Mina Shirakawa. The match was pretty good, I thought. I thought it was a great
Yeah, me
showcase.
too.
Mina put up a great fight as always. The seat belt was used for the win. I wrote, who's going to kick out of it? Because that's going to be a big deal when someone does, because they're going to keep building it.
Certainly, certainly.
Then Yuta came into the ring. Harley Cameron too. The Death Riders on the outside. Mox and Shafir arrive. Yuta and Kris Statlander hug. Harley Cameron sort of stood in the corner, sizing up the situation. She's looking on in despair. Stat. So yeah, at this point, you're thinking like it really looks like as the Death Riders are coming in that it's sort of an initiation thing because
Yeah.
she's won the title, so it feels like okay, like you've sort of proven yourself now. Do this one last thing for us. Give us something to show that you're matched up with our ethos. Harley Cameron was playing the part brilliantly. She looked scared. She looked anticipating. Kris Statlander looked very torn. She kept looking
Yes.
at her. So then I believe they were like pulled into hug or mid hug, and she was looking at Harley Cameron, and the moment the tension was palpable, and she just turns around and clotheslines Wheelie Yuta, which I was not expecting whatsoever. She then yeah, Maria Shafir comes in and Stat kind of crawls through it and comes face to face with Mox, which was like a oh moment. It was tense, and then she, flipped him off to his face and then ran into the crowd, and yeah, I mean, I was just shocked. I thought she looked so badass, like her and Harley Cameron running up the steps and having the spotlight on her, flipping him off, and it was just heartwarming. It was just
Yeah.
proper heartwarming, like knowing that she's sticking to her guns, knowing that she's played him, and just that the storyline hasn't gone how we expected, but it's so much more interesting this way. And I think as well, this could finally be the thing that if they wanted to, could bring Marina Shafir into the female wrestling division because it makes sense that the Death Riders want to have the women's champion on their side, so
Hmm.
that could now position Marina Shafir to go towards Kris Statlander and challenge her or have some sort of situation go on and yeah, I thought it was absolutely fantastic and it really sold me on. Even though I love Stat as champion, I am a Stat fan. She's like one of my favourites, but I wasn't fully sold on it
No.
taking over from the reign of Tony Storm because that's big shoes to fill. But this segment really instilled a lot of faith and made me believe in her and be hyped for her as a champion.
Absolutely, and it's a big story, and I think that's what defined Tony Storm's reign is like big stories with big, like long feuds and sort of quite intricate detail. And it feels like we might have passed the the ball. I, I don't know what the metaphor is there. Pass the baton to someone who is going to equally do it a great story that's going to be impactful and long term. And do we, I mean, am I being delusional or do we think that this might be Do you think this could lead to Wheeler Yuta doing something? Because it feels like maybe she was like his project and like they were friends before, and maybe Moxley was like, right, we're gonna help Statlander get the women's championship and we're gonna get her in and we're gonna have that championship as part of us. Yuta, this is up to you to do this because you're her friend. You know her better. Let's get the manipulation wheels rolling, baby. And then he's failed. And
Manipulation wheels.
it's another Wheeler U to L. Is this gonna finally be the thing that like pushes Moxley to be like, well, you're a fucking useless piece of shit and you ain't any use to me anymore. Bye. I don't need you. I've got Daniel Garcia. Is there some sort of a nuance that we can sink our teeth into there? Maybe I'm not trying to make it all about Wheeler because obviously Kris Statlander should be the main character of this. Like it's her title reign. She's the one who's pushed back against them. But yeah, that's just kind of where my brain went.
Or maybe it like inspires Wheeler Yuta because he has all that history with Kris Statlander and he's like in this cult and he can't see a way out of it. He's so brainwashed, so maybe to see Stat do that, it'll kind of move something within him. Would
Yeah.
be nice if Daniel Garcia did something too, and yeah, like he was pitted against Wheeler Yuta, but
Yeah.
we'll we'll see. And then the hilarity didn't stop because yeah, I'd already seen this on Instagram, but I'd forgotten that it happened. So it was like watching it for the second time, but also the first time when Darby Allin then comes out with a pissing flamethrower, which I love that that's his like character weapon. Like, I think that's hilarious. And he came out and he was just walking so creepily. Like it was the funniest thing ever. And then Mox like tripped over the stairs,
Oh, hilarious.
which was hilarious. It was just a really funny, bizarre end. And then he makes the claim, I want you again. I ain't had enough. And I want you in an I Quit match at Wrestle Dream. What?
I just think,
What?
I mean, okay, whatever. What's the fucking point of having a coffin match if that's not going to be the end of the feud? If a coffin match doesn't end it, then what will? And
Then
I quit
how?
match will, I guess.
But an I Quit match does not intrigue you because how would you do
Yeah,
that? Like, is this Mox? But surely not.
can't imagine either of them saying I quit.
So
Which
I'm
I guess
really
is the whole
intrigued
point.
by this match. I'm massively intrigued because how the hell are they gonna go about it?
Yeah, yeah, me too. I dislike it. Well, I don't dislike it, but I feel like it's a bit of a trope in an I quit match to like, I mean, oh, I'm gonna hit you with, was it Spike, or I'm gonna kill your wife, force you to say I quit because of something like that. You know what I mean? Some sort of cop
Yeah, but
out.
then they'll have quit, and that's like huge like they'll have,
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. I mean, 100%. I just think,
that's the finality, isn't it?
yeah, but I agree. But then why did we have a coffin match?
Because that's like, but it's not the same though. Like a coffin match is like you can get beaten up to the point of like passing out. Like when they're put in that coffin, they're like they're done. But saying I quit is more
It's
like it's
it's
more visceral.
active.
It's more.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like it's going to be quite powerful seeing either of them say I quit,
yeah,
and I can't imagine them doing it. So
yeah, I totally
that's where the
agree.
intrigue is.
I totally agree. But I just think, I don't know how to describe it. Like, but I guess basically what I'm trying to say is I thought this feud was over and it's not. Just a little bit surprised by it.
But I don't think it's going to be like corny, like Spike being like I quit. I think it's going to be like life or death. I feel like
Yeah,
it's going to be like Darby Allin about to be pushed off an arena, or like
someone gets suffocated
a,
with a plastic
a
bag.
gun to the head. Do you know what I mean? Like I feel like it's going to be like intense, and you're going to be like, please quit. You're not
I
going to
think
be like,
it'll
oh,
be
you could
hard.
have survived that.
I
It's going to
think
be
it'll be
like, oh
hard
my
to pull it
God.
off.
Yeah,
So yeah.
that's the intrigue though.
Hmm.
I can't wait to see how they do it. So, I'm very yawny,
We're
very
both so
tired.
tired.
I'm a sleepy gal. Me's a sleepy gal. So, we're gonna score the show. I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. because I enjoyed it.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
I had a lot of fun.
A
I had a
10.
lot of fun.
Okay, yeah. Let's go with it.
Orange Cassidy returned. Kris Statlander had a badass moment. There was lots of fun. The wrestling was fun. The talk. There wasn't anything on the
There's a
show I
lot of
didn't
solid
like.
wrestling. A lot of very
I mean,
solid
the
wrestling.
demand were quite demanding to watch. But other than that, but I enjoyed the ending to that match, and Ricochet on commentary was fun, and it was just a good time. It was a bloody good time.
Yeah, certainly. And thinking back over it, I feel like we've not complained much, have we? So yeah, absolutely.
Oh, we
Let's
always
go with
find something to complain about.
it.
It's our specialty. We are British wrestling content creators. We are the worst version, the worst type of human in society.
Absolutely not. I disagree. I disagree. Um, I think we are just fair. There's a lot more negative podcasts out there, let's just put it that way. And we're not negative for the sake of getting clicks.
We're hilarious.
Absolutely. Absolutely we are. And we're also fucking genius as well, and everything we say is right. So if you want more correct take,
Even though I can barely speak.
if you want more correct
Can't even
take,
say a sentence.
do subscribe and follow.
We're so close to 1,000.
Yeah, we are super close. So it would mean the world if you could help us to hit 1,000. If you're not already subscribed, please do, or share with your friends. Help us make the algorithm happy. Leave a like, what have you. And just thank you as ever for listening to our rambling, and we hope you enjoyed. And we will be back next week for another Dynamite review. So we'll see you then.
I must bid you adieu, goodbye, and good night.
I wish you died in the womb!